It's empowering what we do. You do you so good, you have you up here worshiping just mess.
A woman was like, that's like the least of my worries. I need to know if he's a worshiper. Do you know how to pray? And the crowd is like, yeah, woo woo. And I'm sitting next to my friend. I said, I don't give a darn how good that man pray. When he get up off that floor, he need to look good.
I'm stopping somebody right now who's engaged. You probably need to go ahead and break it off. It just might not need to be. Y'all still in the negotiation stages. So what? Some great people that I know, I've heard of, like Anthony O'Neill, and all, like I've heard of different people who actually was engaged and they broke it off, and they are doing very well.
Right.
They had to make that change. Thank God I did that. Ooh. This is an Iwebu production.
Period. How to know if he or she is the one. You might be dating someone. You might got your eyes on someone. You might be in the courting season, whatever it might be. And you're like, how can I really lock in
Singles, listen
and
up.
know that they are the one? And so we want to kind of give y'all a few points, 7 to be exact. This is not all the things, but you know, we'll be here all night long. Y'all be listening to us until Christmas. But we wanted to just kind of give some of the basics, some of the foundation. Like if you work with this, you might be all right, okay? So number 1 is attraction. So I want to say this really quick. I was at an event and it was a women's event and they were talking about attraction. And basically saying like how important is attraction. And the woman was like, I mean, I that's like the least of my worries. I need to know if he's a worshiper. Do you know how to pray? And the crowd is like, yeah, woo woo. And I'm sitting next to my friend. I said, I don't give a darn how good that man pray. When he get up off that floor, he need to look good.
Come on.
For me to even talk to you, because the reason I asked my friend, I said, because my friend approached her husband before they got married. I said, what made you go to your husband? She was like, because he had his hat tilted to... I said, he looked good. Exactly. You didn't find out if he was a good worshiper, if he could pray, if he could speak in tongues. Like, Christians, stop making that deep. No, you need to be attracted to your husband because the 2 top reasons divorce happens is because of finances and infidelity. Somebody look better. You know, somebody is doing what they really wanted. Somebody dressing how they really wanted. And so we can go deeper into that because some people just lustful. But
Come on.
the main point is like, no, you need to be attracted to this person. I done heard people not kiss their husband until they married and they was alone and that and y'all was never tempted
in the world do you?
Y'all was never tempted to kiss.
Listen.
He not cute to you, baby.
And if y'all was alone,
If y'all was alone.
y'all had like boundaries and y'all
Yes.
had people
Yes.
that was there.
It was always groups.
Get it, definitely get it.
What? Like you had
And
to
that's how
keep
you
me away
should
from him.
probably
Yes, there was lust there.
Yeah.
We were attracted to each other. Don't let us be alone. No, like there should be a pulling and a draw. When that woman walked by, like Jesus.
It should be to the point you like, please don't leave me with her. Don't, no, please. No,
Get her.
hey, Johnny, I need you to stay here with us.
Bro.
Yeah, please. Can you
gotta
stay?
go bowling.
We want to kind of chill. So,
Yeah.
Can you stay right here with us? Like straight up. Like play the video game or something. But like while we talking, can you just make sure that we don't make it back there? like something like that. It gotta be if you listen, if y'all could be together and you don't feel like your freaking flesh ain't dang near leaping off of you to want to get them. And the attraction is something to you. Because for women, sometimes it isn't that. But for men, listen, this is why I'm also against sometimes like, you know, some people have been hooked up because of a mentor or a spirit, you know, a pastor or something like that, and they tell them.
I think that's only your story.
I've seen that. I was told, you know, like one about my old pastor one time, he told me, hey, have you ever considered so and so? And I'm like,
he tried to hook you up with somebody.
Yeah,
at
he
the
did.
church.
I was like, nah. He said, pray about it. In my mind, I'm thinking. I told him like, okay, cool, yeah, I will. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm definitely gonna do it, Pastor. Got you. But in my mind, I'm like, I don't gotta pray about that one.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, no, that ain't for me. And
Yeah.
I've been thinking to this day, I'm like, what if I would have done that?
That would've
And
been
then think
horrible.
about how many, because I know how influential certain mentors can be and pastors can be.
Yeah.
Then when they tell you, God was telling me,
Yeah.
or watch out for the prophets nowadays. Lord, Watch out for the prophets. Some of these
everybody got a
prophets nowadays coming in telling you that I saw so and so as your husband.
My God.
Have you ever talked to him?
You're gonna be married in 3 months.
And it's somebody that you don't think is attractive at all. Like that you have no man, come on now.
Jesus
like,
not gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, prophet so and so, prophet is so and so. That ain't for me.
That's not my word.
Like that ain't my words.
Yeah. And even when you talk about women, like now women be attracted to your husband. You know, y'all. I remember I was talking to this girl. I think it was at an event, and she was like, "I'm okay with a 4 as long as he can dress." And it's like, well, whatever it is for you, sis.
Whatever it is for
you, do that. Like, don't marry a huge, out of shape guy, and you really attracted to fit athletic men. Don't do it. Yeah. Like, go after what you want.
Real talk.
Number 2, love Jesus more than you. This is someone that has the evidence of actually being submitted to Christ, meaning they're in their local church. Yes. They are tithing. There are fruits of the Spirit. There's evidence that they're a believer. Not, I love God. Yeah, I love God. They're serving.
You should meet somebody serving.
Absolutely. Someone that is already, just like they say, Ruth was working. Your spouse, future spouse, whoever you're looking at, they need to be working. They need to be actually submitted to Christ, and there's evidence of it. Because a lot of times, people, they'll be attracted to someone. They'll have money. They'll have all these other things in line that we're going to list in here in a second. But if they're not anchored in Christ, that's a lot of times where we see marriages failing. Is like, you loved her more than you loved Christ. Yep. You loved him more than you loved Christ. Yes. And if Christ is not the center of each individual's life, you are in for a disaster. So, I mean, most people would think this is number 1, right? Make sure they love Jesus first. Now, you need to be attractive first. They can love Jesus, but if they ugly to you, that don't matter. Nobody's ugly, but But they need to have the evidence of someone that is actually committed and submitted to the gospel, to the kingdom, to Jesus.
Real talk. What are they listening to?
Yes.
Every time when I get in a car with them, are they listening to profanity and music all the daggone time?
Right.
Like this. I'm not saying that now you're not a believer or something like that, but you might want to call into question, what is their like what's their connection with the Lord? Because if you've been walking with the Lord for quite some time, He'll start to filter some of those things up out of you.
For sure.
Okay, you're not wanting to listen to so much of profane, laced hip hop or R&B or such vulgar stuff. Or they listen to any worship music. Like I tell a lot of people sometimes, like, so you a believer, but man, I'll just challenge you to change the radio station. Change the radio station. Turn on a sermon. I mean, again, people, I didn't get to with you out of nowhere. You don't get me today if it wasn't for Nnamdi turning off my radio. Back when I was about 25, I started to turn my wife is always doing something on my face.
No, you have a long red hair.
Yeah, I got red hairs.
That's crazy.
But I got Indian in my blood.
Oh, Lord. Black people love saying that.
But before I met you, back at 25, one of my mentors told me, like, hey, like stop listening to music all the time. Turn your car stereo into a library. Yeah. And so I started listening to more self-help things, and then eventually when I got saved, I started listening to sermons. I would go to sleep listening to sermons. I literally would do that. Like I told you about that. You might have thought that was like, what was you doing? Like I would go to sleep, and when I was keeping myself, I had a while I was abstaining for almost a year. I did, and shoot, I would sit there and I would listen to different sermons by Dr. Art Vernon, and I'll be going to sleep.
Yeah.
So again, like you should see some of these things. You should see some of these fruits. When you got with me, what was I doing? I think I was listening to Christian hip hop a lot. You love Christian hip hop, but it's like, okay, Nnamdi.
Yeah.
All right. This is enough. Like
time to listen to R&B.
Right. Because you should see this. What are they watching?
Yeah.
You should see some of these things that shows like, okay, like, no, he really loved the Lord.
Yeah.
Like he ain't like sideways, like we ain't leaving church and then he rolling the blunt right away or none type of stuff. Like he's really with him.
Jesus.
For real. Like he's really on that. And so he or she. So you should see some of those things. You should see somebody who loves Jesus more than they will love you.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really big thing for women. Like, please, we go, like, I think my auntie told me this one time when wasn't enjoying the last place that we was at. She was like, women we gonna find our way to God. Like we gonna listen to, you know, certain podcasts and things that encourage us, but make sure your man is doing that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of times I feel like I see women that are with men that are less, you know, like the men barely go to church. The men barely really in there. Like, you know, they believe in God, but they're not really locked in. So ladies, please, for the love of God, make sure you get a man that loves God and it's evident that he's doing all the things. I mean, not all, but you know what I'm saying? Like he's just striving to be more like Christ.
And just to add to that, and it may sometimes seem like, man, we knocking on the door of the ladies. Like, y'all probably like, why y'all on our head? Why don't y'all get to the men? And we do. But I've seen more times than not, I tell you this all the time, baby. It's like, man, we see a woman go astray or she's into some old crazy, now some guy, she used to be a believer and now she done got with this dude and now she worshiping crystals and all types of other crazy stuff. It's because women were so meant to be led. Point blank, period. Y'all were made like that. Y'all were made like that. So even when you just think that you're the strongest woman ever, you in some ways can be a little gullible. Like you can be vulnerable just and open to a man, and you got to watch what is this man really on.
Yeah.
Especially that's why it's like when you get to sleeping with him, listen, hey, it's powering. It's empowering with some what we do. Do you so good? Have you up here worshiping? I don't know, just mess.
The atoms in the sky.
Yeah, the atoms in the sky, and talking to the ancestors is who you now you like, idolize the ancestors now. You like
that thing. So yeah,
good. I'm speaking to the ancestors.
My great grandfather.
Girl, what you talking about the ancestors? Oh yeah, because Oxman said like what the hell? Who's Oxman? Oh my dude, you know it's like. You gotta watch these. Hey, listen. As a man, that thing. I'm like, hey, like you be like, dang, that thing was speaking to her. I guess.
Yeah.
She done changed up everything. Like
changed her religion
Jesus,
for that thing.
He out of here. Okay. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Who you say my God is?
Dang.
Oh, okay. I'll
be seeing some of these cats on like some of these big time cats social media who are not believers, and I'll be telling you, I'll be like, man. Women nowadays, they better watch out. If they anchored in Christ, they run into a dude like him.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he gonna be telling them that the moons and the stars is the goddesses and the whatever. I don't know what they be talking about. I'm sorry, y'all. I know I'm messing it all up, ill informed. But I'm just saying, you just gotta watch it because that thing will have you going a whole nother way.
Sure
so
will.
That's why we speak to the women. Y'all are so meant to be led. That could change a whole household.
Yes.
You've seen it.
And number 3, moving on, who is he accountable to? And we broke this down to who is he accountable to? Who is he submitted to? And I want to say this, and we didn't even put this down in the notes. A lot of times men are like, you know, submit. But the Bible talks about submitting unto one another. Yeah. And one thing, speaking to the ladies, you want to make sure you have a man that can submit. Because a leader is only a great leader because they were a great follower. A servant, you know what I'm saying?
Say that again.
A leader is only a great leader because they were a great follower. So you are seeking a husband to be a great leader. He needs to be able to submit. He needs to be able to know how to decipher, this is my moment to take the back seat. This is my moment, because a lot of times women are getting with dogmatic, I said what I said type of men, not respecting a part of you that might have a wisdom for that certain situation. You know, I think that's something that a lot of men, you know, might not maybe necessarily admire about you, because you're like, no, my wife is smarter in that area. Like, if I was smarter in finances, I would be holding the finances down, but I'm not. So Naldi does that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of the creative, so I handle more of the creative stuff. We know our place, but you will only be able to operate in your fullness if you have someone, because it takes a confident man to let a woman have a moment like, oh no, you're smarter in this. So the point is, who is he accountable to? Who is he submitted to? Because that's a big part of a great character's trait that you want to have in your man. You do not want a man that can't listen to nobody, that can't follow leadership, that can't be under a pastor, that can't, you know, serve under a pastor. Like, yes, we know you have great ideas. Yes, we know you're probably a minister yourself. Yes, we know that you are maybe the next pastor. But how how do you act when you're just in the parking lot? How do you act when you're just the janitor cleaning the toilets of the church? How do you act when you aren't giving a sermon? Are you still kind? Are you still a good man? Are you still loving? And so I think that's a huge part, and that's something that I admire about you. Are we able to tell our stories in the midst of this?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we try to get on time as much as we can, respect their time.
But that was a big deal for me. Yeah. Like, that's something that I easily saw with you, Nnamdi. It's just like how it wasn't, you didn't have a power struggle with other men, and that's a big deal. It's a big deal because you will end up getting with a man that just don't listen and don't care. And these are the men that aren't as gentle as you want them to be. So yeah,
that's a lot of times why you see men not in churches nowadays. You know, the women, you be like, dang, you only see the wife, and then the husband's not there. And he believe he's smarter than the pastor.
Right.
I don't know. I ain't going there giving that man. I'm paying it. I'm basically paying his rent, and he got a new car, and all that type of stuff. Like they don't even understand anything about submission at all. And, all throughout Scripture, you continually see men that were submitted up under other to Joshua to Moses. You see Timothy to Paul. You see so much of this and on and so forth. Every man should be submitted to someone. Like they should have somebody that they should. The man, we talking about the men on this one, definitely. The men, he should have somebody that you can tell on about him. Like you could tell on him to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Pastor so and so, can I talk to you? And he's gonna respect that man's response.
Yeah.
Hey, I just got through talking to I mean, we had them before, like where I was not been doing something I was supposed to, and hey, I was talking to TK, and she was telling me that, what's going on, bro? Like, you understand? And because again, I'm okay with being submitted. Now I ain't gonna be submitted to just anybody,
right?
Okay, you gotta have some knowledge. You gotta have something, a track record, trustworthy, definitely.
Yes.
And a track record that shows that you're successful also in your marriage in some form.
Yeah.
We got to be able to relate. You got to be real.
Right.
But yeah, is he submitted, man? I hate to see when, women get with somebody who's just not submitted. He the smartest man in the world. He know how to do everything.
Yeah.
Negro don't know how to fix a car. He over there under the hood. Oh yeah, all you got to do is put this under the. When did you go to auto mechanic? It's a mess up and then be talking about, can you come get me? Like what? Yeah, I'll let Rodney work on my car again, girl. I'm on the side of the road. He watched YouTube. Like, no, stop letting him do that.
And
he don't know how to submit to the daggone mechanic, the daggone car. Stop dealing with these dudes. You just smart. You just know how to do everything. Oh no, we can. Yeah, all you got to do is, and it's some of that is as admirable to me because I'm not handy or none of that. But some people they should know what they're not good at. Find a man that know what he not good at, and he's submitted to somebody who's better at that thing than he is. Okay, I'm cool in the word, but yeah, Pastor so-and-so, he's even better in the word. And I'm following that man because I need some guidance, somebody who can also help me along this. He who could teach me in this. So yeah, I'm sorry, went on a tangent.
No, that's great. That's amazing. Number 4, can you marry their family? Knowing their family, meeting their mom. I don't watched, I mean, it's not a good example, but it was a clip with Krishan Rock and Blueface, and they was like, well, his mama, because she don't like his mama, I think she fought her, and somebody was like, Blueface mama is your kid's grandma. She was like, my kid ain't gonna be in that. And it's like, yeah, they will. I don't care how much you don't like that family. The spouse is going to, that's their family. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's things that I know my family might have been wrong in, but it's way more easier for me to forgive them and to move on. Same for you. Like, there's certain things that your side that I'm like, what the heck? And you like that, but that's Uncle so-and-so, that's daddy, that's mama, that's so-and-so. And so you got to know, like, you marrying their family, and I know it's not like, no, you're not sleeping with these people. You're not going to see them all the time. But if their family is ratchet, broke, disgusted, disrespectful, all of that. You got to know that is what you are marrying into. You have to know that's what you're marrying into.
Yeah, I think Bishop T.D. Jakes talked about it before. He was talking about him and his wife, and he said when we got married, what I realized, he said my mother was like marrying her honor. So whoever had raised his wife, you know what I'm saying? Like that's really what was happening. Like you were a product of your environment.
Absolutely.
I was a product of my environment when I stepped in to this thing. And so one of the things I did look at your family. I actually thought that was pretty dope. Like for instance, her family got together. I think it was almost every week or every other week.
Every Sunday at that time.
Every Sunday at that time. I can't remember. Like, hold up.
Crazy.
Let me see this. This doesn't add up. This is gonna be a lot of money if we keep doing this every Sunday.
4 kids.
Yeah, we got 4. We can't do that. You gonna have to tell the family. We gonna have to do once a month.
Yeah.
So. But again, I admired that they were close, and I mess with her and I make fun of her because they get together on holidays and they sing like all these different songs, and it's kind
why do you always do that?
y'all just be harmonizing. It's just real funny. But my family was like that, so I just like, oh, that's really dope, y'all. It's a real like warm family feeling.
Yeah.
They got their issues like anybody else, but it was like, okay, I could deal with that. From what I saw, I could deal with that.
Yeah.
Just make sure maybe you make a visit with the family because you marrying them too.
Absolutely. And number 5, does your vision align? Does your vision align with your potential spouse? Meaning finances, meaning I want to be wealthy. So that means I'm not doing certain things. I'm not just purchasing things, getting in debt, knowing their financial habits. Are you a free spirit? Do you spend? Do you just recklessly spend? Do you just think that money grows on trees? Are you frugal? Or do you care? Are you stingy? Are you greedy? Knowing that. Does your morals align? Obviously being believers, knowing certain standards that you have for your family. What do you want to raise your kids up to be? How you want to raise your kids? How many kids? Like vision, big picture. Does the ultimate goal, do they align? And that was something that was big for us that we knew immediately, like, oh yeah, it aligns easily.
Yeah, everything lined up. We may have one has more of a strength in one area, like for instance, finance or something. We may have that, but overall, where we want it to go, like when we talked about what's our goals and our dreams, even before, I think one of the dopest things is that I found somebody who also loved music like I did. Like I wasn't making music anymore, but she was actually doing the music, and so it was just like she had somebody who could support her in that. Like if she got with somebody who was, I don't know, maybe a doctor or somebody who just wasn't in that field, they may not have known, like, why are we doing this again? Or why you got to go to the studio with so-and-so and them again? And like, for me, I knew it and I was okay with it. I actually enjoyed being around it. Shoot, I was her hype man. I'm still a hype man if we do a performance. That's what I'm going to do there. But again, it's because in those areas, we actually align. So yeah, make sure that you guys align in that area. When it comes to kids, how many more kids we want to have? I knew my wife only wanted one. She wanted none, almost none to one. Or we ended up having 2, but it was okay.
Yeah.
I knew I only wanted 2 more. So again, these things align. Make sure that they align with your vision and what you want to do.
And you also won't know that if you're sleeping together. You won't be able to get in those deep conversations. You won't be able to really dive into like the depths of doing life together for life if you're sleeping together. So please have these conversations. And that also means you got to kind of know a little bit yourself, like know yourself a little bit. Number 6, could you marry, and this is a big one, could you marry their reality and not their potential?
Ooh, wow.
Y'all better stop marrying people being like, I know he gonna get better. He not gonna smoke. Girl, that boy gonna be smoking until he die. Don't play. Just know if you're gonna be okay with that or not. And that was something that you actually taught me, was marrying reality and not potential. And that was something I had to think through. Like, would I be okay if this man, if nothing else happens and this is just who he is? And obviously I was, but we've both grown, and prayerfully that's what happens. But overall, I think the concept is not like that you're going to act like you're 22 forever, but overall, like their ways, their gestures, their type of thinking, like reality, like, could you marry who they are? I think this is a big one for women because we be building men in our mind. Like, okay, he ain't got a car now. But that's okay because he worked hard, you know. I can pick him up for a while, right? So I'm gonna pick him up and then we gonna go. I'm gonna work extra. I'm gonna work doubles. He stay home, work with the kids, and then probably like 3 months he'll be able to find a job, and then he gonna work. Girl, you building his life.
If that ain't what he want.
If that man came broke, busted and disgusted, he might die that way. And are you okay with it? So stop building people up in y'all minds. Like, that's where y'all be going wrong, getting a Joe Jack that's on crack and thinking that he gonna be a pastor the next day, like, or a couple years from now. So be okay with who they are. If he's an alcoholic, if he a pothead, if he's that, and just know he might not ever be anything else. Will you be okay with that?
Yeah,
and that's a big deal for women, because y'all be really building men. Yeah. And you know, I mean, he just got saved and he might still be a baby in Christ for the rest of his life.
Yeah. You gotta. One of the things I learned that, you know, before I met you there, I think it was come from Dr. Vernon. It was good because it was like, it made me stop. Had I not heard that, it wouldn't have made me stop in my single days before I was married. I was engaged.
Right.
And it was big. It was public and people knew about it and people were cheering us on, but people didn't get to see behind the scenes. I could not rub a little, like I couldn't rub a little lamp and my pastor comes out and be our mediator every time. And so I was like, with this situation and what I was going through, even though I knew I was going to take a lot of, pushback, a lot of controversy would come with it regardless, I had to say, okay, could I marry this person? Like, it's not fair. It's not fair for you to do this to them. Check this out. It's not fair for you to hold this expectation of this person that you'd have made them out to be, that they haven't signed up to be.
Right.
That they have not said that they want to be at all. You understand? Like you were saying, if he wanna stay at home, he wanna play video games and all that, but you see him becoming this multimillionaire running businesses, but he ain't told you nor showed you, big point right there, that's really what he want to do.
Yeah.
Then now you're trying to push this man into being something that he's not. You're trying to be God. You cannot be that.
Yeah.
Now you're playing with God. And so that's where I had to come to, because it took me a long time before I heard that quote. And that quote changed my life. Don't marry potential, marry reality. Because I was like, and I did not know I was warring with the Lord. Because I had a vision for the person that I was with.
Right.
But that person was like, they was going to be who they were going to be.
Yeah.
Point blank, period.
Yeah.
And they wasn't changing that till they were ready to change that. And I had to say, am I ready? Am I really, if she was going to be the way she is now forever, can I go ahead and marry her? I'm stopping somebody right now who's engaged who probably need to go ahead and break it off. It just might not need to be. Y'all still in the negotiation stages. So what? Some great people that I know, I've heard of, like Anthony O'Neill, and I've heard of different people who actually was engaged and they broke it off and they are doing very well.
Right.
They had to make that change. Thank God I did that. Ooh, thank God. And no disrespect to that young lady, because what I told her at that time, I said, listen, because I knew I was doing her wrong. If you really love that person, if you really love that person, you will let them go and allow God to work on them and stop trying to be God.
Right.
Okay? Marry potential.
Yeah.
Like, not marry potential.
I mean,
marry reality.
Yeah.
Marry reality.
Yeah.
Not potential.
Yeah.
Do not step in front of God's work. You cannot do it if they haven't signed up for it.
Yeah.
Don't think that they're going to be that.
That's a big deal. Like, people are miserable right now because they husband is doing the same thing they did day one. It's like,
he showed you that from the beginning.
You been knowing he played video games and just smoke all day. You been knowing he was alcoholic and hang out with his boys every weekend. He never took you out on a date. Why he all of a sudden gonna do that now?
Yeah.
Why he all of a sudden gonna become a man of God now? Why he all of a sudden gonna start reading books and because y'all know you growing. Yeah. He not, and he didn't show you that from the beginning. A lot of times that's because y'all be getting in those bedrooms and he be pillow talking and in your ear capping and lying and you believe it. And so marry reality.
Yes, marry reality.
And then the last one is, can you actually handle their baggage, their baby mamas, their body count? Are they a felon, past attractions to the same sex? And the reason why I want to say this really quick is a lot of times when you're in for myself. When I met Nnamdi, I was 21 years old. Don't correct me, babe. I was 21. I was 21 years old and turning 22 in November. Does that make you feel better?
All right. I was 29. It's good.
Gosh, Lee. I was 21 and I didn't have a desire to. I didn't have a desire. I wasn't like eager to get married. I wasn't like, oh yes, I'm ready for a husband. Right now, like I was young. I was just starting my rap career fully. And I was just, in my zone. But when I met Nnamdi, I knew that he was husband material. I knew like, I don't need to pass this up. Like this is a once in a lifetime type of thing, right? And so when he would share certain things with me, like, oh, I got 2 baby mamas, or oh, I got this, or oh, this is going on. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's fine. I can handle it. But then I would like get into reality and be like, I don't know. Like, I don't know about these 2 baby mamas. This is kind of rough. Like, this is kind of difficult. And so, like, know that you know. And I had to talk myself up to that. Like, okay, you in here. Like, okay, we're engaged. Like, you got to be able to handle baby mamas. This is something that you're putting yourself, like, really know when if you know you got a problem with a dude or with a female with a big number, don't brush that to the side. Because in marriage, that thing gonna come up even louder and it's gonna face you again. Yep. So just be sure that when you're trying to, because I feel like in the courting season and you're engaged and it's like, you just want to get to the altar, like you're infatuated, especially if you're not having sex, there's this mystery and you just end up saying yes. And it's like, then you get in there and like, dang, I actually don't like that you got a baby daddy. He actually hella reckless for us. Like, this is actually a really big problem. So really ask yourself, can you handle the baggage that all of us come with? Some form. Yeah,
some form. I believe, you definitely want to make sure that you can handle whatever it is that they came with. If they had past same-sex attraction, it's one of the things you have down here too. Like, you might want to check that out. Is homie really delivered from that? Is she really delivered? Like, I was like, when she told me about that whole deal, I was like, hold on, okay, so do you still get turned about women? Should I not have you around certain people?
You didn't seem worried about that at all.
I wasn't crazy worried about it because you didn't really show any. Like, I seen you around other
It wasn't
women.
Like I was a stud.
Yeah, it wasn't like you was still looking at women or like, hold on, like, wanting to talk to me about women, like, she prettier. Like, it wasn't nothing like that.
Right.
But we spoke about it, and I would ask you, like, hey, are you okay with being around so and so by yourself? Or you? And you're like, why you asked me, like, why are you asking me that? I forgot. And he was like, oh heck no. Like, you're like, no, come on now. So you need to make sure, again, that's still a part of her baggage. It's still there's something that somebody could try to bring up or whatever the case may be. But again, it's been already exposed. She's already told me these things, every detail. So this is why you need to take that time to really investigate, go through each and everything. Listen, I tell people during the courting season, this is like your interview process.
Yeah. You're
trying to see, can they actually fill that position with you?
Yeah.
And then vice versa, they trying to see, okay, do you fill this position with me? Yeah. And guess what? If y'all not hooking up and all that, y'all will go separate ways and it ain't no problem. You can still see them. Ain't no funny feelings.
Yep, because
y'all
there's no sex.
Was no sex. Like, I had a season like that where I had been abstaining for almost a year. I did that. And it had some certain people that I talked to within that year. We did nothing. I remember a young lady I was talking to, and she was like, hey, I don't know if you really like, if we're for each other. She stopped me. And to be honest with you, I was glad she did. Because I wasn't sure if attraction wise, I knew it was for church wise, and that we went to the same church and we was on the same level as far as spiritual. It was cool. But attraction wise, I was like, I don't know if I could really long term. And I was like, good, she brought it up other than me. Huh? No, for real. I'm glad she had brought it up other than me. But she noticed some things. Yeah. She noticed maybe what I liked, or, and that she wasn't that, or whatever the case may be. Or she was in a season too where she was really on her path, and she ended up getting. I remember she ended up getting married to a great man, great man of God. I knew him and everything, and it wasn't no funny like. I was at their wedding, wasn't no funny feelings, nothing big about it. Yeah. So again, but you can do that when you actually treat your brother, your sister in Christ like brothers and sisters, and you don't start hooking up and all that. So just again, make sure you can deal with their baggage and
I was just even thinking, because y'all know how we be trying to scare y'all into doing what's right. But even as you were talking, I was like, we really did that. Like we really interviewed each other. Like we really found out we found out so much about each other. Like you were just pouring out, this is what I got, this how many partners, this the baby mama, she might act the fool, but she cool. This is that. I go to this, I've been to this, I never smoked, I don't got this.
That's a key. Even if, for some of those, like you may be like, well, me and him didn't already messed around. And I'm not saying y'all should stop now, but that doesn't mean all hope is over and you need to start from scratch for somebody else.
Right.
Like even though we had messed around, I was still like, okay, now we talking about marriage, like for real, for real. Like, okay, let me make sure though, because we talking about forever. Like the percentages says, I brought these percentages to her, and I was like, based off of how many times your mama and daddy been divorced and how many times my mama and daddy been divorced, we got like a 200% chance of not making it.
That's crazy.
I'm like, are you sure you ready to go? Because we're going to be fighting against all types of odds. And she would explain to me whatever. So again, these are the conversations that you guys should be having, I believe, for anybody. If you're watching this and you're not a believer, take this. This should, in some way should work for you too. I hope that you become a believer and get to know Christ. But
for sure.
See if you can handle their baggage.
Yeah, and that is it, y'all. I have a feeling that we're going to be updating this as we grow. Sure. So we'll continue to make videos. Yes. This is our first one that we've kind of wanted to make that y'all can go to and just, if you're in a relationship right now, just check them off. Like, can I marry his reality? Can I handle this baggage long term? If you don't like the baby mama now, you ain't gonna like her when y'all get married. Never. So, like check off this stuff. Seriously, check this stuff off. We hope that this has blessed you for sure. Y'all, we be giving this our all. We think about y'all all the time and just ways that we can bless y'all and help y'all. Listen, we notice that most of y'all don't be liking our videos and a lot of y'all ain't subscribed. So if you watching, if you keep coming back, that means you liking something. If that's just liking, looking at us, if you like this Iwebu sign, whatever it is, like the video, y'all. Push this stuff in the algorithm. Y'all, we see enough of the Chrisean Rocks. We see enough of Young Miami and Diddy. We see them. Like, it's a bunch of them. Push good, moral, modest, kingdom stuff up the algorithm. Y'all do that. We don't put our Cash App in the description. We don't do none of that weird stuff. Just like the video, comment, interact, follow us, and just let people know it's a kingdom couple doing kingdom things, okay?
Yes, make sure y'all follow us on all social media platforms.
Yes. And listen to us.
Yes, listen to us. Go to Spotify. Please give us a 5-star rating. If you ain't giving a 5, don't put nothing at all. But I definitely would. We would definitely appreciate if you do that on your Spotify and your Apple Podcast. And just make sure you follow us on all social media platforms, man. We need some love over Instagram. I'm just be honest and transparent. Yeah. Go follow us right now, The Iwebus on Instagram. It'll be major love to us, and we appreciate it. But until next time, we will holler at y'all. Peace. Hey, thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you could do us a huge favor, please hit that like button and please subscribe.
Yes, and please do not forget to hit that notification bell. We need y'all to be locked in every single time we drop this fire content. Yes. Also, we need y'all to follow us on all social media platforms at The Iwebus. And look, we will see y'all on the next video.
Holla.